Same book of Sahih Bukhari, volume 6, book 61, says Ubay ibn Ka'b recites portions of the Quran that none of the rest of us recite. And when asked not to, he says he will not leave it for anything whatsoever, because he heard it from the mouth of Muhammad. Surprising. Abdullah ibn Mas'ud, he's the first one Muhammad mentioned. You look at the records of what Abdullah ibn Mas'ud had in his Quran, he had 111 chapters of the Quran. Well, what does today's Quran have? 114. There's 3 chapters in today's Quran that were not included in the number one teacher Muhammad picked. So it turns out that there were many things in the Quran I hadn't been told. For example, when people challenged me, is Islam a religion of peace? I would say, La ikraha fi din. Surah Al-Baqarah, chapter 2 of the Quran, verse 256 says, La ikraha fi din. There's no compulsion in religion. So of course Islam's a religion of peace. Look what the Quran says. There's no compulsion in religion. Or I would quote Surah Al-Kafirun. Qul ya ayyuhal kafirun la'abudun mata'budun. Say to the disbelievers, O you who disbelieve, but basically those of you who aren't Muslim, you can believe what you want to believe. I do not worship what you worship. You don't worship what I worship, but that's okay. We can get along, basically, is what the chapter says. Peaceful message. Those were the verses I knew. What I didn't know were verses like chapter 9, verse 5. Slay the infidel wherever you find them. Lay siege to them and take them captive. That's in the Quran too. Verses like, fight the Jews and Christians until they pay the ransom tax and feel humiliated. I didn't know about that verse either. So Jesus certainly exists. Okay, what can we know about him? Well, of the scholars that study him, and keep in mind, there is an entire area of historical studies called historical Jesus studies. So we have scholars who've been studying this on all sides. These aren't all Christians by any means. You have people like Paula Fredrickson, Marcus Borg, Bart Ehrman. You have people along these lines who would say, like John Dominic Crossan, who would say that of Jesus we can know for a fact that he died on the cross. Now keep in mind, that's one of our 3 points that we're proving for Christianity, or attempting to show to determine its reliability. Did Jesus die on the cross? The scholars who study his life, regardless of whether they're atheist, Buddhist, agnostic, Hindu, Christian, it doesn't matter. They all conclude that Jesus died on the cross.